Yo. This is good grief. Friday. My bad, man. I said that completely wrong, but I'm gonna keep it though, because that was funny. But what's up, y'all? Friday night, feeling all right. Happy Halloween. DPS Podcast, episode 249. I am one of your hosts here, SloMoBackSlap, with my other partner in crime over here, Mr. Gamer Forte. What's up, man? How's it going, sir?
It's going. Actually got off. Dog, I forgot how it feels to get off work early on a Friday. It's been forever, and it was actually cool. I ain't even go trick or treating. I just sat outside my house with my my neighbor who brought over some tequila, and I took some shots of it, and I was like, "Oh, this is some stuff that sneaks up on you." And then literally 10 minutes later, I was like, yo. So I was like, ooh, I said, yeah, this.
You feeling a little good, huh? You feeling a little good tonight?
I'm good, bro. I'm going to sleep after this podcast because I got to get up early in the morning. But but no, man, it's been really, really good. And I'm glad you're feeling better. You definitely sound better. So that's always a positive. And good to be back here with the homies, with the top 10% in the community, ones that actually play games for the most part, and
that's right. Play games, not hating on games that we don't play. How about that?
We don't play.
How about that?
Exactly.
So it's been, now that you mentioned that, what have you been playing over the past week?
Take a guess.
Pokemon ZA.
That's one of them.
Because I saw you online, because I was playing Fire Emblem, the side story, the DLC for Fire Emblem, which is ridiculously hard for no reason whatsoever. Some of these missions are just like, what were y'all on? Like, what drugs were y'all on? Did someone say all the missions, all the quest in 3 houses was too easy, so y'all decided to just, show them what's what? Because I don't know, man. I'm like, man, it is it's pretty rough out here. But I was playing that. I saw you jumping online with Pokemon. What else you been playing?
Battlefield. I got a little bit. I got to get back into the swing of it, because it's like that game is not a game that you can literally just play 20-30 minutes of. It's like, when I play Battlefield, I want to play. I'm kind of one of those people that want to play at least 4 or 5 matches, and 4 and 5 matches in Battlefield is like 2.5, 3 hours, depending on the game mode you're playing. So I jumped in for like an hour and a half earlier today, and then a little bit earlier this weekend. But I've been so like not at home, like 90% of the time I'm just like not home. So I have just been playing mostly Pokemon ZA when I'm like either just at work and not doing anything, or out and about just sitting around waiting. Like, matter of fact, the other day, I think when you saw me online earlier today, I was waiting for Peyton to come out of practice. So I was sitting in the parking lot, and I was on my hotspot on my phone, and I had put the DLC and stuff in, because I did see you playing, and I forgot. Like 3 days ago, one of my friends was like, "Man, I never see you online, and why are you not seeing my invite?" I have a problem. People for some reason always call out the fact that I don't accept their invites, which happens all the time. And I was like, you know what? I haven't seen your invite. He said, yeah, I sent it to you like 3 months ago. I was like, oh. Wow. So I went to go look, and then when you go look at your friends list, it shows your online status. And I was like, oh, I am offline. How long have I been offline, SloMo? I can't tell you.
It's the best way to be, man. It's the best way to be is offline.
Bro, I was offline on my Switch probably since Switch 1. Because it kept all my settings and stuff. So I turned it on, and then everybody, like, this is the first time I've ever heard you say I actually saw you playing, because I turned my my what's the name to online. But yeah, man, I'm really liking it. I am not gonna lie though, there are things in that game that frustrate the hell out of me. I still live on the fact of this game is the ugliest Pokemon game I've ever seen. It may be one of the funnest, but I still live off the fact that I'm like,
Yeah,
they could have did so
hold
much
those
better.
thoughts on Pokemon
But
because
yeah,
that's going to
but
come up a little bit later on.
yeah, go ahead.
Uh, I did. So you did have a stream though, right? Well, wasn't there a stream
Hmm.
of with an awesome looking thumbnail
No, we're not talking about that thumbnail.
of Death Stranding? Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So like, look, I didn't get a chance to check in on that stream. How'd it go? Huh?
Oh, it was actually fun. I literally made it all the way to the end before I decided to lose like 15 packages. And no, it was fun. I did like an hour and a half because I had to literally, I was like, I came in streamed and I literally, that's right before I had to drive like 2 hours to go to my daughter's her second competition. But it was super fun, man. I ain't gonna lie, the game definitely is getting a lot better now that we're getting into the parts of the game where the combat really makes sense. Now everybody up here like talking all bad about Fragile, like her and this, and you're delivering packages for her, and why would you do this and why would you do that? And I'm like, oh Lord, there's a whole deep meaning to this story. Like, what did Fragile do to all these people? So definitely gonna jump back in and get some more of that. But I did like, I want to say 4 missions, like connecting a couple of the different outposts um to the Kyra network and stuff. And then I took off after that. So I played about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours before I did. And I know you were playing Fire Emblem at that time, but I had fun with it. It was actually pretty fun. I mean, the game's definitely a lot better now. I still don't agree with the premise of it, carrying these giant packages on my back and all this
But do
other
you
stuff.
kind of feel like you're getting the story and like you're because I've heard you say that it's like far more interesting now than it was when you first started,
Oh yeah,
you
it's
know?
oh yeah, yeah. It's way more interesting now, especially when I start seeing Fragile start snapping her finger and she's like teleporting all over the place, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. So, so this is the thing with Kojima that I I get the premise of what he's going for. I just feel like it's so convoluted in how we're getting there that a lot of people check out before they even get to this point. Like you're starting to really
Like I
get,
did.
yeah, you're starting like at this point, you're starting to get a little bit of the nuances of like why things are happening the way they're happening, and you're starting to learn about the beach and everything, based on Death Stranding 2, on the beach. So you're starting to get more understanding of what all those different terminologies and stuff mean. But I just feel like the grind and just the overall, want to in the game and getting to that point is where a lot of people kind of like fell off. So I will say if you get to about, and I don't even think I'm at the point where I'm 100% sold on it, but I'm at a point now where I'm interested. So depending on your whole interest level, I can see a person sticking with it, but I can also say at this point that a person is like, yeah, I like where they're going, but I still, really don't care because there is still a lot of like world building and storytelling that they're doing. So it really just depends on the person, but I do think that this is the reflection point of the game. Like you're either going to be 100% bought in at this point, and you're really interested in the direction that the story is going in, and you just want to kind of see more because the combat does pick up a lot here, or you're just like, yeah, this seems like it's more of the same, and I really don't want to go down this rabbit hole, and you just kind of stop playing. But it's it's
Yeah,
it's it's interesting. I
I
still
do
haven't seen
agree
God
that
though.
it's
I still haven't seen God
well,
yet
yeah.
though.
I don't think you're gonna see God in that game, but I do agree that like the game's very polarizing. There are people who it's like there's I don't think I've ever heard of someone say, yeah, I beat Death Stranding, it was alright. No, it's
Right.
mostly like I beat Death Stranding and my life has changed. I am
Mm-hmm.
now I have ascended.
I have
I
seen
have
it.
I am a better father, a better husband, and a better lover now It's just like, what? What are you talking
What are
about?
we talking about here?
Or it's the worst game I've ever played. This is garbage. People who play this game are stupid, and Kojima is overrated. It's like there's no like middle ground. It's either you're in one camp or the other. But you know, I think you might be able to be that middle ground, Forte. You know, just keep plugging away. I got another thumbnail coming for you.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, at this point, I do feel like I kind of want to finish it because I am enjoying it. But this is the thing: the people, I just don't know how much I would enjoy it just sitting there playing it by myself. If I didn't have you making thumbnails, making fun of it, and had the community like kind of being there along the way while I play it, what would my interest level in this game? I mean, obviously, I didn't care about playing it when I didn't have like the commitment of the community and everything. So, but I really don't know. But like I said, as of right now, I am enjoying the game. I'm just, I just really want to see kind of where it goes from here and just kind of give it a chance at this point. But that's kind of what I've been doing. But for yourself, sir, we're playing a new game, and you see some of it on the screen right now. What about you? What's been up?
Okay, so I look. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say, don't judge me. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
I bought this game twice. And y'all know how I am. If I buy a game on multiple platforms, SloMo must really like this game.
Must really like
so
this game.
the game that's you see on the Jumbotron is Dispatch. And Dispatch is, I think I said it last week, but I will reiterate it again. It is like the evolution of how Telltale was making games. Dispatch is really good. It's this gameplay is because I've been streaming it. I've been streaming it on Steam, on PC. This gameplay you're seeing is the recording I did of me playing it on PlayStation. It's on PC and PlayStation as of right now, and I'm kind of doing two different ways. So like, I don't want to do any spoilers, but like for people who have watched the stream, and it's 2 episodes per week, and so it's been out for 2 weeks, so it's a total of 8 episodes. 4 episodes already out. If you watch my stream, you kind of know some of the decisions I made. On my PlayStation playthrough, I'm doing like the opposite of those things. So and you can kind of imagine if you watch the stream what I'm kind of doing, on PlayStation. So it's dope. It's the animation's very good. The writing and voice acting is awesome. It's probably one of my favorite games this year so far. Hopefully it sticks the landing, because you know how it's not complete yet. Or it's complete, but not all of them are out yet. So it could definitely fumble the bag later on with some stupid like decision making. And I have a ton of theories, but I'm not trying to be one of those people who think their theory has to be right, and when their theory isn't right, they start hating on the game. And y'all, some of y'all may know who I'm talking about when I say stuff like that. But I'm not doing that. But I do kind of like, as long as how they tie things up is done well, that's all I care about. But so I've been playing that. So I did, and I streamed episodes 3 and 4 on my channel and the DPS channel. I dual streamed it, so check that out at your leisure. I finished The Outer Worlds 1. The DLC. So there's 2 DLCs they had, 2 expansions. One was like, I forgot, it's called something Gorgon. But I forgot the full name of it. And the other one is like a mystery, an investigation. The murder of Helen, which I think the structure of both DLCs are almost identical. To the degree where I kind of like when I played Gorgon, I think I may have enjoyed Gorgon more than Helen DLC, even though most people say that the Helen DLC is better. I enjoyed Gorgon more because I think after playing them back to back, the structure of how they did the story, and the story beats and the plot twist, I kind of saw it coming with the second one. So Still good, but just not for me, not as good as Gorgon was. And then I beat the game, so that's done. And I started the Outer Worlds 2, so that's already. I might as well throw that up on the jumbotron now. I've only done the first maybe 20 minutes of it. I haven't done anything more than that. And crap, OBS has been a bother because they just locked up on me for no reason, but now it's good. Wait, that is the wrong footage. That is the Outer Worlds 1. Sorry. There we go. Outer Worlds 2 is definitely like it on PC at least. I don't know about how it is on consoles, but on PC, it definitely needs some optimization. It's got Tech Power Up did the testing and running of the game on a bunch of different GPUs. Forte at 5090. So basically, there's only 4 GPUs that can run this game at 4K. No, at what was it? I think they had it set for. Okay, this is with no upscaling and no frame generation. Only 4 GPUs can run this game at 1080p 60. And what I really think it comes down to is that, because I looked at some analysis of it with Digital Foundry and a couple other places, it's really, really heavy on the CPU. So if you have a mid-level CPU or it's a little bit older, you're probably going to be a little bit frustrated with this game. Now, of course, like a lot of people today, they play with frame generation on, they play with an upscaler on. I'm using DLSS quality and frame generation, and that's the performance I'm getting in the game. It's it pretty much stayed, at acceptable performance the whole time. And I switched it to third person perspective because that's how, for these kind of games, I would love to see my character, so that's what I kind of prefer. But there's something about the stiffness, I think, of how the character moves. Like I'm and now that they kind of added, like, it's got way more movement, like good movement in this one compared to the first game. The first game had a dodge that was just like worthless. It's just like, what's this dodge doing here? Because it's like I'm not dodging anything with it. It was pointless. But this one's got like the ability to slide in more dynamic movement. I just don't like the way the animation looks. So like if you're going to add all that kind of additional movement, I would like to see some dynamic animations that actually match the movement. Instead, I kind of feel very stiff, like the upper body doesn't really move the way you would expect someone like a more natural human movement. So I might switch to first person perspective with all of the sliding and jumping and stuff. Like, I'm not saying it's Call of Duty, nor do I want it to be Call of Duty, but if the gunplay is significantly better than it was in the first game, which so far I would say yeah, I might just go third person. First person for the rest of the way. But story wise, it's like I'm very early on, but I thought the prologue was done very well. I just don't know what the heck's going on because it's like it's just skipped the time frame this is happening in is like further in the future from where you leave off in Outer Worlds 1, I believe, because just like a lot of what they were talking about was just like I literally just finished Outer Worlds 1. I'm like, I don't know what the heck's happening, but it's been good so far. I'm gonna, of course, keep playing it. I haven't got a chance to play the Battlefield 6. What is it called? Red Spec?
Yeah, Red Spec.
The Battle Royale, but I want to play that sometime this weekend because I want to try that out, see how that is. And what else? Oh yeah, and Fire Emblem. So like I am at the end of the Fire Emblem DLC, and the way it works is the more chapters of the DLC that you complete in your main game, because it's a separate save, it's a completely separate thing within the game. In your main game, you can now start to like recruit some of those characters from that fourth secret house into your group. And I don't really care for the characters that much as I care for the classes that they have, because they bring new classes with them as well as some new weapons. So yeah, that's about it, man. That's all I've been doing. Anything else you want to talk about before we get into these topics? This is going to be a short show, I think, because there's just not really a lot going on right now. But yeah, Forte, anything else you want to say?
Unless you like drama. No, I'm good.
Oh yeah.
You like drama.
There's a lot of drama.
You like drama. There's a lot going on.
It is a whole lot of that going on. Good grief. All right, so look.
Oh really?
Windows Central is reporting that the next generation Xbox, which is just a PC, but you know,
we know
some people don't want to hear that. Anyway, the next generation Xbox, as they call it, will have no multiplayer paywall, yet will feel like a traditional console and natively run games currently available in the Xbox Series console and current backwards compatibility titles. Now, Forte, why do you think there's no multiplayer paywall?
Because it's a PC. And they don't and
ding.
And they don't charge PC players for multiplayer now. So if it smells like a dog, if it looks like if it sounds like a duck, it quacks like a duck, and it walks like a duck, guess what?
Look, for those who don't get this, because I was so shocked to see people like, wow, there's no multiplayer paywall. Hey, I might want to try this out. Like, y'all don't get what they. Okay, in order for them to charge you for multiplayer, they will have to charge PC gamers for multiplayer. Guess why? Because the device is a PC.
It's a PC.
So and they know they tried that before, you know, and it didn't work out very well for them, and they're not going to make that mistake again. So that's why you don't have a multiplayer paywall. And they so what they're doing with the Xbox Ally and Xbox Ally X is like a dry run for what they're going to kind of do with this other under the TV kind of, you know, device, where it's going to use the same UI, they use the same shell that they're using right now. The Xbox, I would say the Microsoft Store version of Big Picture mode that you get with Steam. They're going to use that in this device, and then also allow you to kind of exit out of that, go into a more traditional Windows environment. And then if you want to, you know, install Epic Game Store and play games off of that, you can do that. Like, this is kind of where it's going to go. There's some rumors that the APU they're developing with AMD is going to allow you to play your games natively without cloud. My theory was that the device would just have hardware emulation, that they would include hardware emulation into the device. But I guess that would make it a little bit more expensive as well. So
yeah,
however they do it, it's fine. I still kind of contend that this device likely isn't going to be actually made by Xbox, but instead would be made by someone like Asus, like what you call them, that makes the Go, the Legion Go, Lenovo, or yeah, like one of those other companies. Because what we're seeing, and we talked about this last week, we're seeing more of them partnering with other companies, because, you know, we're not gonna get into the financials that they brought out, but like, they did not have the greatest quarter that they just reported on, and part of that is due to hardware being nearly 30% down, and that is kind of like an anchor around their neck. So, Forte, what are your thoughts about this?
It is a self-inflicted anchor. They lowered that anchor into the ocean and decided to make sure it weighs 10,000 tons. That's them. No, I mean, you're absolutely right. I think people need to just listen to what they say. And then you need to tie what they say into the actions that they do. And then you got to remember and do research, and just remember, not that long ago they tried to do things like charge PC gamers for Xbox Live, and that didn't go over too well. And guess what? PC Game Pass, I mean multiplayer on Game Pass is still the same that it always has been. You just log in and you can play. You know, when you guess what? When you watch people that's on Steam, that's not even on the, think about it, they're not even playing like Halo Master Chief Collection. The people that bought it on Steam, you can still play against those people if you're on Xbox. But guess what? And that's not even on the Windows Store. That is on Steam. And even on Steam, you don't have to pay for multiplayer. You don't even got to be in their ecosystem when it comes to like their own walled garden. They just don't care. You know, the people, guess what? The people that are playing, you know, the funny thing is, I never thought about this. Do they charge you? Do you have to have an Xbox Live account if you're playing like Forza Motorsport Horizon 5 on PlayStation?
I don't know, because I've never played it on PlayStation. I guess that is a question. If anyone in the chat has actually played Forza Horizon on PlayStation, if you guys can answer that question, that'd be
that's a good
awesome. We appreciate that.
Because I mean, you probably would have to have PlayStation Plus because it's a multiplayer game, but Xbox isn't probably charging people to do it on PlayStation.
Yeah, you absolutely have to have PlayStation Plus because it's a paid game,
online game
that has online. So yeah, you have to. It's not a free to play game.
To have it. It's just if Xbox and Xbox probably ain't double dipping you for it though.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if you have to log in. You know, you have to create an account and log in. But it's not like you gotta pay for Game Pass or anything crap like that. It's just logging in.
Yeah, but I just think in general, it's like they're just moving in a different direction. It's like, even on PC, you're not getting the full Game Pass experience on PC. So that's kind of the benefit of being in the Xbox ecosystem. Now, because even on Windows, like the Windows Store, not all the games are there. You know, you still get that curated full Game Pass experience when you're playing, or Xbox Live experience when you're playing on console. So that should be the benefit. But anybody that thinks that when they say, oh, there will be no paying for online multiplayer when it comes to the next generation system, well, that's because the next generation system isn't a system, it's a PC. So that's kind of how I look at it. But you know,
it's funny how it's phrased. It's funny how it's phrased, because it's phrased as if like they were doing you a solid. You know, hey, look, you know, I know you guys hate paying for multiplayer. You know what? That's so antiquated. We're just going to do away with that.
Don't you like
congratulations?
Don't you like how Microsoft?
Bro, you were going to do that anyway.
This is the thing. Don't you like Microsoft's grade A marketing when it's about something that they want to take away from you versus if they market something they want you to have? Like, they know how to spin move you. If they are taking something away, they know how to spin move you to death to make you feel like you are getting a deal. But they cannot market something they want you to buy to save their lives. They still, to this day, I feel like to this day, they still haven't 100% grasp how they should market Xbox Game Pass to people. Like, it's still, even though I know more people know about it now, I still feel like they aren't even doing nowhere near. They're like operating at 60%, I feel, if
I feel
even
like
that, when it comes to
I
like
feel
talking
like
about Game Pass.
like well, I don't think Game Pass is the value that it was prior to this change. Which is
No, I
why I'm
don't
on
either.
PC Game Pass now and not Game Pass Ultimate. But
Right.
I think it's difficult to market it to anyone that isn't a hardcore gamer, because although it's got good games in there, and this year has been like the best year for Game
Mhm.
Pass. If you've been a Game Pass subscriber this year, you know, you've had a lot of quality titles and a lot of different genres to pick from.
Yeah, you've been eating this
Eh,
year.
But for the casual gamer that plays like all the super popular, you know, annual release stuff or the live service stuff, is the value isn't there for them because they don't play those games like oh, you have 500 games at your leisure to play whenever you want. I'm like, all right,
Thank you.
okay, thanks, I guess. Like it's almost like you can play Expedition 33 day one. That game's going to be Game of the Year or a Game of the Year nominee, and they're just like, yeah, I never heard of that. So it's just like value. You can't just say, oh, that is this value, because it's how it feels for me.
Right.
For other people, like, they may not like care about that game. They may not care that this game is highly rated. What's that mean to me? You know, like, you know, it's kind of like how you'll see, like, in the, like, I'll take a different industry, in the movie industry, where you'll have your movie buffs that like are so artsy fartsy, like, you know, this movie was nominated in the Sundance Festival. I'm like, okay, and
Mhm.
it's weird. Like,
This is
I don't care. It just this horror movie, they used all old school props. They did all old school stunts with this. No CGI. Okay,
Mhm.
I can tell it's all old school because I see the pulleys and the strings in the background. It's just like some people just don't care as much as other people do.
No, I agree.
And when it comes to, like, you know, like when they get to the end of the year and they're doing the Oscars and what's the movie of the year nominees, it's always like a bunch of movies you never heard of.
Yeah.
And the movies that if you ask like regular people, you know, I said regular people. I'm my bad. That's mean. Not regular people. But if you ask just your common casual moviegoer, what's a movie of the year? You know, they may say something that may get nominated. Like this year, I think Sinners will get nominated, right? And it deserves it. But like for the most part, those movies don't get nominated. But like in a regular year, it'll be like the eternal darkness of the crack the crackhead hobo, and it's just like,
A crackhead hobo. I hear
who
you.
watched this? Who watched this crap? So it's just, and to kind of bring it back to gaming, like when we're talking about, oh, Game Pass is so great, it had Ninja Gaiden 4, it had Clear Obscure, it had Silk Song, it's got all the, and then that's not even like the first party games. The first party game, and somebody's just like, does it have Fortnite?
Yeah, right.
Does it have Roblox? Can I get Robux for being subscribed? I can't.
Mhm.
So I don't care about nothing you're saying. It's
Right.
just, it is what it is, man.
No,
But
you right. You ain't wrong.
anything else you want to say on this before we
No, that's
move on?
it.
All right.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
So this is interesting. Netflix has entered into a game development contract with Don't Nod, who made the Life is Strange games. and they are partnering together to create a new narrative-driven game based on a quote-unquote major IP. I find this funny because everyone knows that major IP is Stranger Things, right? Everyone knows it.
Everybody
But it's
knows
funny because it seems like Netflix can't never make up their mind. Because I'm going to take you guys down memory lane a good little while ago. Remember when Telltale was around? And remember when Telltale got shut down? They filed for bankruptcy.
I do.
When they did the documentary, I think it was the No Clip YouTube channel did the documentary on Telltale, and the reason behind them shutting down is that the studio was never making enough money off these licensed games that they were doing, and when one of their games got canceled, the studio couldn't survive, and that game was supposed to be Stranger Things. And they were actually going to be innovative in the Stranger Things game. They're going to do things differently than they've done before. They just never got the chance to, see the vision come to life. But
yeah.
Netflix canceled that game, not because they didn't think it was good, but because they had made the decision that they wanted to just not license out their IP to third-party developers, but instead build their own first-party studios and just do it all in-house. And so that's when they hired Joseph Staten off of Halo. They hired they bought Night School Studio that made Oxenfree. They did all these things, and then at some point out of nowhere, they just started shutting down their studios and canceling games, and the game that Joseph Staten was working on got canceled, and they did a 180. Hey, we're not doing that no more. Now they're working with Donut to make another Stranger Things game. It's just like, you could have just stuck with Telltale. You could have just, instead of doing all this and buying studios and then shutting them down and making people unemployed, you could have just worked with Telltale. That game would have been out by now. Maybe it would have been a hit. Who knows, right? Maybe they could have been working on a sequel. But you out here just I half believe they will cancel this Donut game and just start buying studios again at this point. It's just crazy. What are your thoughts on this, man?
Look, man, Stranger Things, man, is one of those IPs that the crossover would be tremendous if they could knock it out of the park and they could nail it. But I also think the allure of it is a little far-fetched just for the fact that they have to kind of time it up with the new season and everything. Plus, they're kind of running out of time. The new season, which is the last season, launches on November 26th. I just watched the last trailer for it. It's got me hyped, bro. I can't wait. I already told my wife, I was like, listen, they're giving us the first 4 episodes day one, and then we gotta wait, I think,
to Christmas
to get the second half of it. So it's like a month.
And then
hiatus.
on New Year's is the final episode.
It's the final episode. So it's 9 episodes, and my wife looked, you say, listen, and the rumor is, and I think it's real, that each episode is 90 plus minutes. So basically,
I can see that.
Basically, what we are about to get is 9 feature-rich movies of freaking Stranger Things for all of season 9. I mean, all of this new season, and it's going to be freaking incredible. But I almost feel like this is a missed opportunity because, like you just said, if they would have had worked with Telltale, this would already be either out already, or it would be coming out leading up to the beginning of this show coming out. Because it's not that I don't think it won't do good after it comes out, because Stranger Things is Stranger Things. It's people that's going to always want to go into that world and experience it, just like, Hogwarts was when it came to Harry Potter, even though in the games and the books, the movies have been out for a long time, there's still a following. But I think to maximize what could happen, especially for a company like Netflix that isn't traditionally in video games. It would have been like a huge surge of like overall revenue for them to like kind of time these things up. So depending on when this happens, you might be right. I can easily see if this is a game through Dotnod that they say is like a year out from now. It's like, okay, what's the excitement around a franchise at that point? And then where does that put Dotnod? Because now that they're putting their expertise on the line with this game, and they're not making their own game or anything like that, where does that put them if they put all these resources into this and it gets canceled or something like that? So it's interesting to see it. I just don't know how to feel about it when it comes to this franchise, especially in a video game form. But they should have been had this done a long time ago. Like they had this theoried out for years at this point. They knew 3 years ago that this was going to be their last season, and they already had this stuff storyboarded out. So now it just feels like, I'm not going to say they're scrambling, trying to get something out in the video game market, because they learned themselves that building a studio and building a gaming company part of your conglomerate is not easy. So yeah, who knows what direction it's going to go in. I just hope Dotnod doesn't get injured in the process of it happening.
Yeah. I can't say I've ever played a Netflix game. I know I played that Netflix Black Mirror
Yeah, Black Mirror
kind of thing, where it was like it's kind of like a Telltale, where you have your choices and you kind of choose the path that things go. It was okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't all that, but I think I guess I'll have to see how this goes, because I think Netflix is very volatile in what they choose to support. Like at one point they were just greenlighting everything. You remember, like at one point they were just like, it doesn't matter what trash you came to them with, some terrible script or the generic idea. I remember at one time, I remember in 1 week period, I had watched 3 different TV shows with the same premise.
Mm-hmm.
That all came out the same year. And I'm just like, why would you greenlight all 3 of these? Like, they're literally the same kind of plot, just with like a little twist with one of them. And it's just like, you're not doing any of this content any favors, because if someone watches one and they don't like it, they're probably going to have a negative feeling about the other 2, that kind of thing. It's just very strange of them. And like I said, them going back and forth from whether they would license it out to a third party to doing first party, then going back to third party. It's just, you can't really tell with them how they're going to go. It could be a year from now and they change their mind again. Who knows? But anything else you want to say on this?
Nope.
Oh, really? Oh, really?
Nintendo. Oh man, this is your topic. I'm gonna let you rock with this one, okay? Because I'm about to just sit back and just listen. Nintendo's patent application got rejected by Japan due to it lacking in quote unquote inventive step, which means that the Japanese patent office did not find anything in Nintendo's application that suggested that this was something that they created. This doesn't mean Nintendo's efforts in stopping any competition. This is what this really is about, is stopping any competition to Pokemon. It doesn't mean that those efforts are completely over. They can file a new patent application with amended claims that may satisfy the court, or they could just let it go. But
that ain't gonna happen.
So far, a win for Pal World and Pocket Pair and anyone that feels that Nintendo is out of line with this. Forte, your thoughts, sir.
Ah, man, good old Nintendo, man. Okay, shout out to someone finally getting a W and not being afraid of the hammer that Nintendo swings when it comes to like trying to put their money. Because the thing about these bigger corporations, and to their credit and to their right, they should they should protect their IP. But I feel like outside of like the overall aesthetic, not even the aesthetic, outside of just some of the gameplay mechanics and loops and some of the things that are kind of taken from Pokemon, but I feel like they innovated enough to kind of change it and make it a little bit more different. Because if that's the case, Halo modernized and basically has the blueprint to why shooters are the way shooters are. Can you imagine them? Can you imagine Bungie going out and saying that we put a patent out for the way that you can use a thumbstick to control your character in games? It's like, it's so outlandish because it's like, yes, it's a gameplay mechanic that you do to be able to control your character that they basically refined and got to the point where it is now. But
but it's like, I think the biggest issue was that they had created their patent application. If you look at like what they described and what they were trying to patent, there are games that were launched before their games that were already doing those things. So it's just like the patent should have never.
They're trying to refine. They're trying to Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just weird that they would even attempt this and think this would work. And maybe they did it in their home country because they thought maybe they would have a little bit more. Because I think Pocket Pair and Power World is a Korean,
company,
developer and publisher. So maybe they felt if they filed in Japan, they would have a better chance of winning this, regardless of how frivolous it is. But it's just wild times because a lot of people were angry about this in particular and felt it was unfair. And it looks as if.
So this is the thing, though. I just feel like, listen, instead of you're a $1 billion company, dude, you got 3 massive companies that back Pokemon. You got Nintendo, Creature, and the Pokemon Company that create these. That's over the franchise in general. There's no lack of innovation and money in that. Why can't you just take if you see someone doing something with a light franchise that kind of, I won't even say infringes, but kind of shows people what that version of a game could look like, basically in the same type of realm, you should take notes from it and say, we're going to make it better. And we're going to crush the competition by doing it that way instead of doing this hush hush, shame on you for trying to infringe on our property and make money off of the mechanics and stuff that we feel like we created.
Yeah. They tried to patent throwing a spear at a animal.
At an animal, right.
Like let's just wrap our heads around that. That's not even like a game. Like, I mean, I guess it's a gameplay mechanic.
No, it's an action in the game, right?
Yeah, it's like you're trying to patent specifically throwing. Okay, so what if I put in my game, and it's not even like a kind of Pokemon kind of game where you're catching things. What if I just put in my game, I got like a third-person action adventure game, and I develop it where my character can pick up a rock and hit a dog with it. I'm not saying I would do that. Dog lovers are a little wild. Someone's probably angry at me, but I'm just saying, what if I did that? What if I coded that in the game? Can Nintendo sue me because I picked up a spear and hit an animal with it? Technically, yes. That's just like it's so ridiculous that they would even attempt this nonsense. But
yeah,
it's
kind of crazy.
It is what it is.
It is what. But this is the thing, though. People have given Nintendo that power,
True.
by allowing, just the success of the franchise in general and telling them that we're willing to, and I'm part of it because I went out and bought Pokemon ZA, and I was one of the first people when I first saw the trailer saying this is like the ugliest game I've ever seen for Pokemon. But
And
I
then
was just but I was
yeah.
excited because they added a new mechanic where and this is a funny thing. It's not even a new mechanic. It's something that you can do in Final Fantasy for like the last 10 years, move your character around in a 3D space. And they finally that to Pokemon. And now everybody is like, oh, this is gonna be cool. I can actually move and dodge and be in a three-dimensional arena with my Pokemon and battle and dodge attacks and stuff. But that has been available in games forever. But the fact that it's new to Pokemon, it has people excited. But why can't you upgrade the other mechanics in the game? Like, for God's sakes, make the game look better.
Yeah.
Hire voice actors or do something to like not having us read a bunch of text on the screen. Kind of up the overall value of your game. The fact that that game has sold as many copies as it has sold already is a testament to the franchise being what the franchise is, but it's also a testament to the fact that people just want to play a good game and they don't care about all the little nuances that make a game go from going from being good to being great and being amazing. And I think that's the thing that Nintendo's kind of like, harboring on, not harboring, but they're kind of living off of when it comes to like how people interact with their IPs and stuff. It's kind of like a lot of low bearing fruit that Nintendo is just getting away with on a consistent basis because of they created some really good IPs and people love them, but they don't feel like they need to do anything because they're still, even if me, you, and our whole community boycott it, I still have on a day-to-day basis 30 to 50 people that still want to buy that game that have nothing to do with anything that we're talking about. They just buy the games, play the games, enjoy the games, and buy all the DLC and all that other stuff. And the reason they do it is because they grew up with it and they just keep doing it. So that's it, though.
Cool. Shout out to official Clizzle of 420 with the $10 super chat. He says, thanks for the content. I'm gonna watch tomorrow my #1 gaming pod on YouTube. That's what I like to hear. That's what's up. He says y'all need to do a Battlefield game night soon. Yeah, we can do that. We can definitely do that.
We can definitely do that. We can definitely do that. See how much the servers are to rent, so we can rent servers out and just jump in there together.
That works. Or just regular old multiplayer, or try not the battle royale. We can do that. We can see how it goes. Yeah. Okay. Let's get into this last rapid fire.
Yep.
Oh really? Oh really?
Amazon may have canceled their Lord of the Rings MMO that was in development.
Yeah.
In addition to stopping any new content for the MMO that they created, their original IP, the New World, and not committing to supporting it beyond 2026. As they've had some major hits to their gaming division, as well as just the company on a whole. I've seen conflicting numbers with Amazon's layoffs, but they have laid off anywhere between 14 to 20,000 workers this week. Yeah. So you hate to see it, you hate to hear it. We hope everyone that who's been laid off, because it's not just Amazon that's doing it. There's a lot of companies that have been doing that over the past week, and there's a lot of people who are kind of scrambling due to that. So I hope everyone does.
How many people
get on their feet.
Target laid off at their
What was
home
that
office?
number?
I think it was like 20. I think it was like close to like 23,000 people.
Good grief. Yeah, that's
crazy.
Yep. Yeah, that has you know, I remember the New World MMO was pretty successful at launch.
Sure
I haven't
was.
really been paying attention to it beyond that. But you know, the fact that it's still online today kind of shows that it probably had somewhat of a stable community still there. You know how these live service things happen. For the successful ones, they start out really, really strong with like, you know, 250,000 people on Steam playing it concurrently, that kind of thing. And then as the time goes on, a lot of other people fall off for whatever reason. Maybe something else they saw was coming out was a little bit more interesting to them, or
Right.
they got bored with the game. But you end up getting a good number of people who just stick around and keep playing the game. And I think that I think the New World had a good steady community going, but
It did.
apparently just not enough. You know, just not enough in this day and age with the way things are so far. What are your thoughts on Amazon in general? And I think I heard some things about Luna, but I'm not 100% certain. So I'm not really going to talk about Luna itself, but do you see Amazon kind of following in Google's footsteps when it comes to how they engage in the gaming industry going forward?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is they had really, really good success with New World when it first came out. Then they changed a lot of the things in the game. A lot of people fell off of it because I think they had like a good month and a half to 2 months where it was like one of the most played games in gaming at that point. Even it was like surpassing like games like Fortnite and stuff. Then they had some changes. They did some balancings and stuff in the game. And then a lot of people fell off and didn't like it. And then they came back and they did some more updates. And then a lot of people liked it. Then some new DLC came out for some expansions. It did a little bit better. But we already know what the number one enemy of a live service game is, and it's time.
Mm-hmm.
What's the timetable on how fast you can get content out, how fast you can adjust, you know, the needs and the wants of the community when it comes to the games that they're playing? How long does it take for you to do patches and updates to fix, you know, unique issues in a game? How fast are you willing to remove things that might be kind of, you know, to the player's advantage when it comes to playing the game? Because I do always find that a lot of people just get tired of, like, a lot of people kind of understand when a game is kind of broken in favor of the player. And they're like, okay, that's cool. I'm glad you fixed it. But then when you turn and they fix that stuff instantly, but when it's something that is kind of against the player, it makes it a little bit harder and things like that. Or if there's cheating in the game, they always are like, you know, dragging their feet. And then it's like, it kind of like makes you feel like I was good when you fixed things that was kind of a benefit to the player, because I understand that you kind of, you know, have to do stuff like that because it's a live service game and you want people playing it longer. But when you're like patching out, you're patching out things that help us, but then you're taking your sweet old time to fix the things that are really critical in the game. It kind of just rubs people the wrong way. And that's kind of where I feel like it is with this game. A lot of people like it. A lot of people like the idea of it. But I also just think that Amazon just doesn't want to like consistently go on this merry-go-round when it comes to this type of game. You know, it goes back to like what, you know, the best thing that Bungie could have told, you know, Naughty Dog was, this is what your studio will be if you decide to go down this route with this game. And in all intents and purposes, Naughty Dog didn't want to do that. Hint why that game is on the shelf right now. Not saying they can't ever revisit it, and not even to say that at some point it just becomes the thing that it should have been in the first place, a multiplayer add-on to one of the most critical games that ever was created by them in Last of Us Part 2 or Part 1 when it came out. So I think at the end, it's probably going to be for the best for them, because I just don't see them consistently staying, you know, committed. to this, and I don't see
Mhm.
them really staying committed just in building other studios and stuff like that. I think that is something that is kind of a lost art. I don't think anybody else is going to take up the mantle of what Xbox is leaving behind when it comes to like being that hardware manufacturer, even though there's a bunch of companies out there to do it. Because if you go back and you look at the biggest companies with the most revenue share and profit, it's a platform that doesn't even make games themselves. It is Apple. They just have an ecosystem that you publish your games on, and they reap all the rewards of the whatever the 30 to 20 to 30% it is that they take just because you're using their hardware. So I think that's just the direction we're going in. You're going to have the very few that have very, very good penetration numbers because their product is like sought after,
Mhm.
and those are the ones that's going to basically rule the market when it comes to like, hey, this is where we're going to play all our stuff at. And then after that, it just comes down to, can you maintain a sense of accomplishment in making sure that you release games on a consistent basis, and you're able to, you know, live up to what these games are going to be over time. And that's why I think at some point this live service bubble is going to burst, because you're starting to
Hmm.
see way too many people. Well,
Disagree.
no,
But
when I say
go ahead,
burst,
finish. Go ahead, finish.
no, when I say
I'll tell you
burst,
why.
yeah, when I say burst, I think it's still going to be games that's going to survive, but you have to be a studio that has to 100% commit to it. The reason I don't think Fortnite's ever going anywhere, it may get it may not be as popular at certain points, but that game is going to be like World of Warcraft. It's always going to be there. It's going to be a game that's going to be synonymous with that type of game. World of Warcraft is like 30 plus years old at this point, and you don't hear people talking about it as much as they used to talk about it. But that game is alive and well with a very, very healthy player base, and it always jumps to the top of the charts whenever they release new DLCs and new things like that. That's where I see live service. It's going to be the ones that consistently know what they're doing and able to push the envelope, and they have nothing but time to keep making games. That's why all of Epic is working on Fortnite. How many other studios are willing to do that? And that's when I say the live service bubble is going to burst, because I don't think there's a lot of studios out there that's going to consistently go into that rotator and consistently stay up with it. You're just going to have a few games here and there that's going to jump out and it's going to shock the world. And guess what? They're going to survive, but it's going to be less and less, in my opinion, the further we go into the future, because I think a lot of people are going to be pivoting back to just traditional games to an extent. But go ahead. What do you think?
I don't think it's going to change, because I feel like there's a generation of gamers now that's their norm. Like for us,
No,
for
that
you
is
and me,
true. That is
and for
true.
a lot of people in the chat, the norm is that you see a game, it looks interesting to you, you get hyped for it, whatever, and you know when it comes out, when it comes available, we buy it upfront cost for it, and
Yeah.
then we, you know, whether we don't know for certain it's going to be an enjoyable experience or not. And we knew even less so when we were kids, and all we had to go off of was just turning the box over and looking at the screenshots on the back, and deciding whether this is going to work out or
Bro,
not.
you used to
Um,
literally buy games off the cover art.
yeah, yeah.
Literally.
So it's just now we could be a way more informed now, but it's still like there's a barrier of entry.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like going to the club. You know, you're not getting it for free, unless you know you look like
Unless you look like $1 billion
you
bucks.
right. Then you know they'll roll out the red carpet for you. But for everyone else, is, you know, that cover charge is the cover charge,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what you get for traditional games. But there's a whole generation of gamers that grew up with playing games that were super addictive, super popular, and for them, it is, I will spend money in your game once I know I like it.
Yeah.
And how do you get them to like it? You make it free. And then once they get invested, then you start, hey, you want this next? Like, this is how a lot of the gotcha games work. You want that next chapter? You know what you gotta do.
Yeah. That's true.
And you want to level up another character? Well, I know how you feel, but you're gonna need to open up these loot boxes to get another character for you to do that with. And it's just there's a lot of that going on that is accepted by a younger generation. And I think what may come out of this in the future it's not really that we're going to revert back to the traditional model being the dominant way that people play games, but they're just going to be something else,
right?
That we don't even know of yet. Could be like Battle Royale was just a mode in a game, and now it's a whole genre. You know, it could be something like that coming in the future. We don't know, but
yeah.
But again, hope everyone at Amazon who lost their job lands on their feet well. And, sorry for those who enjoyed the new world, but it looks like it's, the movie's almost over, so to speak. Are we ready for are we ready for the only topic?
The only topic? Let's go.
All right, so this was something that we discussed last week, and it has definitely been revealed at the Halo Championships last Friday. Microsoft dropped this trailer that you're seeing right now of Halo Campaign Evolved, not Combat Evolved, but Campaign Evolved, because this release is just going to be the campaign. It's not going to be the multiplayer. They haven't discussed the multiplayer whatsoever, which was still somewhat odd to release a campaign only release at a multiplayer event, the Halo Championships. Anyway, in addition to the campaign being remade, we will be getting 3 new prequel missions featuring the Master Chief and Sergeant Johnson.
Yes,
these events are supposed to be set before the events of Halo Combat Evolved. That has caused some hand wringing, but we'll get into that later. Basically, that may be problematic. For those who don't know, that may be a little bit of problematic considering the events that occurred that are canon with the Master Chief up until him coming out of cryo in the beginning of Halo. So there's that, right? There's some people complaining about multiplayer not being included, in addition to a lot of nitpicking about what people saw from the trailer itself. And so this is supposed to be coming out in 2026. And there's another rumor that I saw today, I think, or maybe yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. Now we'll get into that after we really discuss the trailer itself. Forte, what were your thoughts on it?
Man, that trailer looked great. That was a good looking game, bro. I was like, I ain't gonna lie, man. When I saw them land on the beach, I was like, oh my God, my favorite mission. So good. The music kicked in. I think it was good. I think it's what it needed to be. The second time they pretty much remastered, Combat Evolved, and this one's just Campaign Evolved. I really like as much as people are kind of really, really mixed on the extra missions that they're adding, which is the prequels to the game. Yeah. I don't mind it because I read the books.
I did too.
Fall of Reach takes place before it actually leads into Master Chief waking up on the Pillar of Autumn. All of that stuff. I mean, I played Halo Reach, which takes place before that, and there's a lot of gaps and stuff in there. Like, even if the timelines and stuff, when it comes to like some of the stuff like you just spoke to that happened before he comes out of cryo, are a little off. It's just at a certain point, it's like you got to take some type of liberties and stuff, like, you know, and things that you kind
of. But to a degree, look.
It depends on what they are. It depends what they are because no one really knows what they're doing.
I feel the Halo purists mostly on this one, not all the other nonsense they've been saying. I don't really feel them on that, but on this I do feel, because it's like you're kind of like potentially creating a non-canon kind of storyline that like really kind of starts to upset the entire timeline, which, you know, the last few campaigns have not been great in kind of keeping everything together and having a concise story with like Halo Guardians and Halo Infinite. But to go back and to kind of retcon what is considered to be parts of the story, I'm not cool with that.
Well,
that said, hold on. That said, it's unnecessary, because as you know, with all the Halo books that are out, there are so many stories that can be told that it's unnecessary for you to be potentially, and I still have to say potentially because we don't know for certain, but potentially retconning what has already been established.
Right.
Like Chief was clearly doing all kinds of missions prior to the events of Halo Reach.
Right.
As well as Sergeant Johnson. Like Sergeant Johnson, there's a book with him in it where he's the one of the very first humans to interact with the Covenant.
Wasn't it Ghost? Halo
I thought it was called the Covenant.
It might be the Covenant.
I think you're thinking about Ghost of Onyx.
Yeah, Ghost of Onyx is the one.
Which featured the Spartan 3s, I think.
Yep, the Spartan 3s.
They were right. But this is more of like First Contact, I think is what it's called. First Contact. Where Sergeant Johnson first like meets the first Covenant to interact with humans. But so it's like these are two characters that have been around the block. You definitely can create a story that is prior to Halo Reach that features the two of them together, and somehow that could somehow tie into the first Halo game somehow. I don't know.
Right.
I just think that like you don't have to retcon what's already been established when you're dealing with an IP that has like 36 books.
True.
There's a ton of lore and ton of stories they can just plop out of the books and put it into a game. So it's unnecessary to be retconning anything, in my opinion. Now, some of this other stuff people complain about, like, so some things I'm cool with, some things I'm not. It's not all great. Like, yes, visually it looked fantastic.
Yes.
But something like, so I saw the actual level designer from Halo Combat Evolved complaining about the placement of certain objects in the world.
Yeah.
How trees were obscuring a point where they were really encouraging the gamer to, you know, run the Warhog off of, you know, a cliff.
Yeah.
The part with the two hunters where they specifically put unbreakable barriers up in front of where the hunters are that force you out of the Warhog to fight them, even though everyone and their grandmother have found a way around that anyway with the Warhog at some point.
Oh yeah.
But you know, these are things that like, it's just without having people there to explain why we did a certain thing a certain way, you're going to have some things that just don't quite line up. But you know, these Halo fans complaining about sprint, yo, it is 2025, bro. You're still complaining about sprint in Halo. Just play the Master Chief Collection and shut up, please. Could you just play the Master Chief Collection, have a Coke and a smile? Like, stop raining on everyone else's parade. You and your ilk are too small of a community to support Halo at this point. You cannot realistically expect them to make a Halo game for you and think that's going to fly, that's going to make money, that's going to be financially successful. They
Right.
have to do things, modernize the gameplay and the gunplay to make it like remotely conceivable for a newer generation of gamers that far outnumber you guys to try to play and enjoy the game and stick with it. Like, you just gotta come to terms with it. I don't know if these guys only play Halo. That's the only shooter they play. Yo, go out here and expand your horizons, bruh. Sow your royal oats in other shooters, please. Do something else besides whine about Sprint. Like, I literally saw this dude, Forte, no lie. This is what this guy said. The part where you go into one of the Halo tunnels, and the music changes, and then like the screen kind of goes from full screen to I forgot what they call it with the bars up and down.
Oh,
it's kind
talk
of
about the cinematics.
yeah, because it's very cinematic. The mood changes, the music changes, and this guy's all like, because he's looking at footage of someone sprinting through that part, and he's just like, this just ruins the sense of wonder. This just ruins the suspense.
You're ruining my mood right
when,
now.
When you walk down that corridor, and I'm just like, bro, if you don't want to sprint, don't sprint. You go ahead and play that exact part
how you want to
5 million times. But the rest of us going to sprint through there, bro, because we don't care. It's just, we don't care that much. And if someone, it's just like, why are you trying to dictate to other people how they should play a single player experience? How they should enjoy that experience. No, you're doing it wrong. You need to really soak up the suspense in that moment. Respectfully, shut up.
Respect.
You sound stupid. You sound ridiculous. Look, one of my favorite moments in Halo Combat Evolved, one of my favorite moments in Halo, like, period, is when you first interact with the Covenant.
Yep, same.
You want to talk suspense? When you're finding dead Covenant all over the place and you don't know why?
Don't know why.
And then you go into this room where you're tracking this locator on one of the Marines, and you finally find the helmet. Ain't no Marine in the helmet. And then you see what happened to them. And then after you see that, then the floods start coming out and attack. That was amazing. Like, one of the best experiences in gaming that I've ever had, right?
Yep.
Would I want other first time, and for maybe there are people in the chat who have never seen that before, and they're going to be somewhat like, well, thanks, Lobo, you ruined it. But would I want other people who will be experiencing that for the first time to kind of feel the tension that I felt with this new threat that I didn't understand? Sure.
Right.
But I can't dictate to other people how they have fun, man. I can't say you gotta do it this way. No. They spent their money just like me.
Yep.
In my experience, doesn't matter how many times I play Halo. I got a gazillion hours in all their games. Halo Infinite, I got over 1,000 matches. That doesn't mean I could say I don't respect the opinions of someone who wants to tell me how Halo multiplayer should play. And not only do they barely play it, but their KD.
Here we go.
Lord, their KD. It's terrible, right? You can't talk about the in and outs and how intricate Halo combat and multiplayer is, and how you should play it when you don't know how to play it yourself. I mean, you can say whatever you want, I'm not listening. But when it comes to single player experiences, come on, man.
Let that be.
Let that be. Let people enjoy the game how they want to enjoy it. All right, I'm off my soapbox, man. What are your thoughts about these things? About the sprint? About I actually saw some people complaining about like the sound of the weapons not sounding as I guess as crisp as it was, which is crazy considering the technology difference. But as the sound design's a little different for like weapons than it was back then. Like all these things that people keep bringing up. What are your thoughts on all that?
So when they introduced sprint and reach, I jumped for joy. I was like, what? We ain't gotta walk anymore. We ain't gotta walk anymore. Now, I was excited because guess what? Do you remember the game that came out in 2007? That basically took the mantle away from Halo as one of the most played games and one of the best shooters on the market. Do you know what game that was, SloMo?
That would be Modern Warfare 2.
Well, yeah, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, and then Modern Warfare 2. You're right. And guess what that game had, SloMo? Didn't it have a sprint button in it? Doesn't Call of Duty to this day have a sprint button in it?
Yeah.
Have you not been able to sprint in Call of Duty since Modern Warfare 2? So the best game on the market, like Halo 3, the last Halo game that you couldn't sprint in. I take that back because they did come out with ODST. ODST you couldn't sprint into, but the last modern Halo with Master Chief as the arbiter of it, you couldn't sprint in. The next year, that was in 2007, the same year Modern Warfare 2 came out and they gave us sprint. And oh boy, was people sprinting around in that game. So when Halo Reach came out, I was already used to a little bit faster gameplay. Of course, I still want the same feel that Halo gave me, and I think they did a great job. The only thing that sucked about Halo Reach was the armor abilities. Like armor lock and stuff, going invisible, people slamming their fist into the ground, and you can't do damage to them. That was a thing that irritated me.
In the campaign, I had no issue with it. In multiplayer, I definitely had an issue with it, especially armor lock.
Well, that was saying armor lock pissed me off. Did I have a problem with people sprinting in multiplayer? No. I loved it. I was like, it gave me the ability to get in and out of, like, you could put yourself in terrible positions inside of Halo Reach because you can sprint.
I also like how they implemented sprint in Halo Infinite, where you can sprint if you want to in the multiplayer, but
you got the stamina bar.
You got the then you got like you're showing up on the mini map.
Yep, you show up on the mini map.
So people know exactly where you are when you're sprinting. So it's like, sure, you could do it. And if you're really good at movement in Halo Infinite, don't even matter that people know will know you at. Hit me. hit me with a good shot, because if not, I'm a X you out as I sprint over your body.
Yeah. That's how I kind of look at it. But in general, I never really had any issues with anything like that. Like I said, it's certain liberties they took when it came to changing up kind of the dynamic of how the gameplay looked. And I never even fought them for that, because you do have to like change the game over time, because at that point I was a dinosaur. By the time Halo 5 came out, I've been playing Halo since 2001. It kind of needed to change, and I think they've been doing some really, really good things to do that. I just and a lot of people are going to think that this is asinine, but yes, Halo is a multiplayer game. It is definitely that, but it was built off of the excitement around the single player. People played Halo and were excited because the story was good. It had an antagonist and a protagonist that people like really, really loved and could get behind. And then all of that stuff changed when they started lying to people about the way campaigns was going to be broken out and what's the name. And it just never, it didn't even the whole repetition inside of Halo 4 with Cortana, it was kind of not easy to follow. Even knowing slow-mo, that was the best looking Halo game up until Infinite. Halo 4, remember when they came out and released the they made it backwards compatible, and they did the what's the name, where it automatically boosts the frame rate and everything and boosts the resolution of the game. Dog, when you played that on an Xbox One X, that game looked better than Halo 5 Guardians. And that was a 360 game. So they put their foot in their mouths when it came to that. But in general, it ultimately comes back to, it's just they didn't consistently live up to the expectations of the gamers when it came to the single player, which in turn didn't let people feel like they were invested in the game long term enough to stay with it when it came to the multiplayer. So I like what they're doing here. The biggest thing is they are trying to bring in a new audience of Halo. They have 160 plus million people. Probably not that much. Probably like around 90 million people that never probably played Halo before, because there's a lot of crossover between Xbox and PlayStation when it comes to like that 140 million or 30 million people that bought a PlayStation 4. So there's a lot of people that did, but there's an even bigger amount of people that didn't. So I think there is a value to going back and doing some of this stuff. And I do agree, if they're talking about going back and retconning a lot of like the story elements that you read in some of the books that kind of speak to like what Halo is. Like I remember reading, Chief and Kelly and Linda when they were boarding the space station.
Blue team.
Blue team. When they were boarding the space station inside towards the climactic end of Halo, the fall of Halo Reach, before the Pillar of Autumn thing started happening. And I remember like how intense that was just reading that story. If we're not getting something like that and it's kind of changing that, then I'm with you 100%. Then they are wrong. And as the purist, I feel like that's something they shouldn't do. But if they're talking about adding more stories that weren't really talked about and adding like more context to things in new missions, I can see stuff like that, because it always goes back to the conversation that Chief was having with Sarge when they got on the elevator, when they were going up to the ceremony after he, when they were coming, when he came out of the locker and stuff. So there's a lot of different ways they could kind of go with this. Me in general, I love Halo. It's going to be great when they finally put it all together. And I do think that this is like probably the best time to like kind of not change things, but bring things, modernize things up to the point where it's like, dude, sprint in 2025, bro. Do you complain about sprint in any other game? Because nobody likes to lumber around and just
the people who are complaining about this don't play other games. That's their problem.
They don't play other games.
They don't play anything else. So they really all they play is in Master Chief Collection, playing the same maps and the same weapons and the same everything over and over and over again. And for them, that's fine. And look, if that's how you feel, I think you should just continue to keep playing Master Chief Collection until you die.
You die.
Because we're not going backwards. Like being upset that they added, like for what a lot of people said, it's Halo Combat Evolved, but with Halo Infinite gunplay and movement and controls. Okay, I'm cool with it. I'm down with it.
I like Halo
people
Infinite.
like, oh, but they designed the game around not being able to sprint. The levels are just you know what? How about you just play it and see how you feel then? Just like this whole, talking from a place of ignorance because you haven't really played it to see if it really works or not, you know? And a lot of people do a lot of confirmation bias either way anyway, because they'll look for people who are saying they didn't, who had the access to play it and said they didn't like it, and just ignore the people who said the opposite. You know, it is what it is, right? But one last thing before we finish up, and this is still in regards to Halo. There is a rumor. It started on Reddit, so you know, take it with a grain of salt. But there's a rumor that Halo 2 and 3 are currently in development to be remade in Unreal Engine 5 the way Halo Combat Evolved is. So we're talking Unreal Engine 5 with Blam Engine, the Halo engine running underneath, and no multiplayer for either of them. What do you think about that?
All right, so we can't. At some point, they have to like, unless now I don't have a problem with this if they are doing, if at some point they're launching a Halo standalone multiplayer game that is going to be a refresh of not just those, but if they're just going to do like this forever thing with Halo, but it would have to come out. Like I could see them skipping Halo Combat Evolve multiplayer, but when Halo 2 comes out, if this is the case, they have to have something new in multiplayer around that time, because as much as Halo, because I know they say they don't want to cannibalize Halo Infinite because that's still kind of a fresh new game when it comes to, it only came out in 2022. So I get that, but by the time Halo 2 remake comes out, if that's the case, we should be getting something along with it, with some type of multiplayer, even if it's not tied to the game, but just a new suite of multiplayer that's probably redone in Unreal Engine 5. If they do something like that, I don't have a problem with it. But if they don't, then I do have a problem, because the thing about Halo 2's multiplayer is like one of the best ones. And that was like the game that really, really did, like when I talk about Combat Evolved was based around single player, and then people gravitated to the multiplayer, and then that's when you got the whole culture of taking your Trinitron, your Sony Trinitron, and carrying it to somebody else's house and everybody being stronger than oxes. That's where that came from. They got to remember that when Halo 2 came out, it was around the time that that was a big thing. Like I didn't even jump on the campaign. The first thing I did was jump in multiplayer for that game. So it kind of has to be there, in my opinion. Something new for that. I don't have a problem with it not being tied to it, but they have to have something new for multiplayer.
So this is what I think is going on. And I mean, look, I haven't heard anything, but this is just my theory. I think they're working on a separate multiplayer that will be a free to play. And therefore, that's why it's not tied to the campaigns, because the campaigns are paid, but the multiplayer is going to be free to play. And I think they'll kind of do what Activision has done with Call of Duty a bit. So you know how like Black Ops 7 is about to come out in a few weeks.
Yeah.
The multiplayer for Warzone is free, but a lot of Warzone players end up buying the game anyway. Here's why. They buy the game anyway because going through the campaign unlocks skins for them, unlocks weapons for them. Playing in the multiplayer unlocks, with the battle pass and stuff like that. Well, I guess like at least the first battle pass before they dropped the new season of Warzone. It allows you to get access to those weapons early, level them up, be able to put attachments on them. So when you go to a cache that gets dropped inside of Warzone, and you can get your loadout, you're getting your loadout with the best attachments, because you got them all already unlocked there anyway, because you've been playing it in multiplayer. And that's what a lot of Warzone players do. if Halo multiplayer does something like that, if Halo Studios does something like that, where if you get these campaigns, I don't know, like it unlocks cosmetics in the multiplayer, or it unlocks other cool things that no one else gets, unless they play that, that kind of thing. I think that might help incentivize people who aren't Halo fans to buy campaign involved in 2 and 3, if this rumor is true.
If the
So
rumor's true, right?
Anyway, we're done for the night. Forte, anything that you would like to say
I love you.
before we get up out of here?
I love you guys. I appreciate you. SloMo always does a great job hosting these shows, and I'm glad he feels better today. And the biggest thing I will say while I'm just talking and stuff, but man, at a certain point, I just want people just to enjoy the things that are coming out, because it gets really super exhausting. And I do want to say thank you to the official Quizzle for the $20 super chat, because we did miss that. He said Halo comes off as outdated. Hardcore Halo fans are adults now, and the game needs to evolve. Enemies need to look way more scarier. The game needs to go darker with a lot of detail and third person. Dead Space and Gears had a baby. Listen, now the third person thing will probably be the most divisive thing if they ever did that in Halo. But
wait, maybe not. They did do third person in Halo Infinite. They added a mode.
They did.
So
and I actually liked it.
It's not off the table. It's not off the table whatsoever. Yeah. So that might actually be something that you eventually see. I do agree that the game needs to evolve, and people need to not. Or look, I've always said this: these people are going to play Halo regardless. They can complain all they want; they're still going to play the game. It's really up to Halo Studio /343 to stop allowing them to hinder the creation they're trying to create. Right. Make the Halo game that you want to make, that you are excited for. Put your own stamp on it. Stop allowing outside forces to dictate what the game's going to be.
Right.
Because many of them will still be there anyway. They're going to complain regardless. They're going to complain if you don't change anything. And they're going to complain if you change the slightest thing. So just let it be. What you got going on for the next week, Forte?
Well, tomorrow is state championships for marching band, so I'll be down at Ford Field at the House of the Lions watching that tomorrow night. And then guess what? For the most part, band season is over. Thank God. Well, I ain't gonna say thank God, because I really did enjoy it. It's something that I've never experienced, and it was different. And watching your kid do it is a whole nother thing. So, but I'm definitely ready to get back to kind of some normalcy, because running back and forth to the school, driving an hour to 2 hours away to these events and stuff gets very, very draining. So definitely looking forward to, just having more of a lax schedule in the future. Definitely going to be doing a Death Stranding stream. I'm off Tuesday or Wednesday. I just got to figure out what day I want to do it on, because I do want to at least get to the point where we're doing at least one of those streams a week. I'll know most likely Sunday night, and then we will put a tweet out to let people kind of know that, and I'll let someone know so he can make his new thumbnail as usual. But outside of that, man, just enjoy the games that you're playing, man, and I don't have to tell you guys that, because I know you guys are 100% gamers for real. But there's a lot of frauds out here that complain about things that they're never going to play, things that they don't even care about. The only thing they care about is trying to piss off other people and make other people's day go bad. And truly, it's kind of whatever. But just keep doing what you guys are doing, and we enjoy it, and we appreciate you guys as always. Thanks again for the super chats today, and thanks again for always rocking out with us every week when we do this show. But y'all have a great weekend. Happy Halloween, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Cool. For myself, guaranteed. I mean, I may stream Outer Worlds 2, we'll see, but I know for certain I'll be streaming Dispatch episodes 5 and 6 next Wednesday. So look out for that. The past 2 streams have been really good, if I do say so myself. So come check them out, and maybe your playthrough of Dispatch would be a bit different from mine, but we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun anyway. And we're out, man. I'm tired. I can't. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. We'll either see you guys before on Wednesday for the Dispatch stream, or maybe Death Stranding in the next couple of days. But if we don't, enjoy your weekend, enjoy your games, and peace.